Morning, Dr. Brad.
Why, hello, Curt.
I still have my girly cup.
I saw that. I was going to make a comment, but I
I need to
chose
wash my manly cup soon. Uh, but it's like I have to
call
walk
your
over to.
girl.
I
Call
have to.
your girl.
What?
I said, call your girl to come in and do it for you.
I, I so need a wife. People of self care. Anyway,
At least a den mother.
oh my God, no, I really don't need a wife. What I need is a housekeeper or an assistant. Like, because I'm spoiled. I've had an assistant since I was 23.
Mm.
I've never not had well the equivalent, a secretary, assistant, whatever. And I haven't, and until recently, I've not had a wife, right? Until I came back from Ukraine. So I mean, and so it's like I go from like this enormous support system, like all these. I've got the secretary, I've got the personal assistant, I've got the nanny, right? I've got the housekeeper, I got the wife, I got the business partners, and I'm
Yeah.
just like all by myself now. And it's like I'm not capable. I never learned. It's like the dog that never learned the basic tricks, right?
It's a pressure drop. It's tough, man.
It's actually awesome to not have all the nagging, but I don't want to say that too loud.
That's the quiet part, right?
Oh, it's the girls that say men are just looking for their peace. It's so peace of mind, right? They're just looking for peace. It's so true, right? We're just make a nest so that we feel at peace, right? That's really there's nothing complicated about this. But and I love women. I mean, I love being married, I love girlfriends, I love the whole thing. I love interacting with women. It's all wonderful. But they're living alone for me, single, um, is absolutely awesome to not have to fucking compromise on every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's just so frustrating that everything has to have an opinion attached to it, or everything. It just drives me. And I know in my marriages it made me exasperated. Why? Because in the rest of my life, people are like falling over to do something for me, right? I mean, they're just like, yeah. And
It's
so,
opposite land. It's the
so,
opposite of peace.
but that's why rich guys get divorced,
Oh,
is because the wife is no longer, the wife is such an obstacle to everything,
too much resistance.
right? To everything. And so she becomes a dead weight cost.
Hmm.
So that's why you do it. That's why you get divorces, because everything becomes a compromise, which she's trying to maximize her assertion, control, consumption, whatever. And at some point, you're like, what? Why? I got a woman half your age who will pretty much, see working with me as an opportunity and a privilege rather than this false equality. We're not equal, right? I mean, this is, I think this particular problem, but it's this whole thing that women today want to believe they're equal, and when you become fairly effective, they're not, right? I mean, if you become, and not only that is they're dead weight. So is this always true? No, I mean, my wife was amazing, right? Until she wasn't. I don't talk down. Do I talk down about my ex? I mean, I don't talk
No,
down. I don't.
no.
I admire her. I love her deeply. But at some point you're just like the level of stress you're under. I mean, you're under a great deal of stress in your job. I know you are. You're under a great deal of stress, and these what you feel like as a man is your wife has petty, narcissistic, selfish concerns that are trivial compared to the burdens you're actually bearing.
Yeah.
And it becomes this discourse becomes a friction. Now, in my case, my wife was a power wife, right? I mean, she and I were a team, and so when there was problems, we would solve them together. But if that's not the case, which is why I recommend that husbands and wives work together whenever possible, so that their worlds stay intertwined rather than continually diverge. But anyway, so I love living alone, but I need an assistant. Right? You know, and that's the best of both worlds, because you can have an assistant housekeeper and then you can go out and date and whatever, right? But you don't get stuck with them. I didn't get the laugh out of you that I expected to get out of that one. I didn't.
Sorry, Curt.
You just.
Sorry to disappoint the audience too. Yes, I am.
Disappointing. Anyway, so this doesn't bode well for reproduction. Well, Christians are doing a good job. Christians are doing a good job. All right. Okay, so today we're supposed to have a working. What does that face mean? There's a face. There's sometimes I get these faces.
Like that. I'm waiting for you to share a screen or something.
Oh, okay. All right. So this morning I got up and I got to work early. Rather than like yesterday, I got to work late. But today I got to work early. And so I took our outline that we worked on yesterday.
Right.
Say, let's outline this. And so I worked on that a little bit to get that integrated. And so now I've got two documents, which is the one that we want to add stuff to, and then we want to take stuff from.
Right.
In looking at these documents, a bunch of ideas come up. So we're going to have, there's a whole bunch of stuff to think about today.
All right.
So I'm going to share my screen. I had something to eat, so hopefully I'll
perk it up.
I won't fade too quick.
Okay.
All right. So I said, here's the front matter. Here's the table of contents. I added this. We did this and this yesterday. And then I said, I was bothered by the fact that it was so obvious that I was in the previous menu outline. I had stated these physical behavior. I said, why don't I just organize it this way?
Yeah.
And so I put those I put the sciences back into the order. And then I took everything that was in the other menu, like time, and I added it into here. And I added these pieces anyway. So I've got what I think is the right. What I think is the right outline here that we want to follow. I have a question I want to ask about this outline because it's kind of a stupid question. So
that's the kind I'm the best at.
So we have I was gonna leave it open, but I'm gonna state the theory instead.
Okay.
All right. So I was gonna say I don't know what this means and hope you would fill it, but I think that'll be too confusing. So I'm gonna state what I think.
Okay.
These are the physical laws, right? And from them we get the logic, right? So we get the logic emerges. Then we get the behavioral laws. That's great. And then we get the evolutionary laws, right?
Right.
So that's before, during, and after. Now, what we described, then we get to the grammars.
Right.
So the grammars are basically the means by which we describe this sequence, right? And all that emerges from it.
Yes.
Right. So when you say accounting, what the hell are we measuring? Well, it isn't one of those things, right?
Everything.
I mean, well, it's sort of everything.
It's everything.
Right. So
what the grammars are the precise tools necessary to measure every possible human experience.
Correct. So that's. Right,
Hmm.
so, thank you.
But that's the ultimate the outcome of interesting, because it's like, yeah, the outcome of the study of the science as described before, during, after,
Yeah,
yields the grammars that allow it to be properly, precisely described and discussed.
so this is a unification. This is where we get the unification of the sciences and the grammars.
Right, and then the natural law is an expression, the final expression of the laws of nature in human, incorporating the human nature.
So it's, you have to know all of these things to be able to know this thing.
That's right. So it's the conclusion of the conclusion.
Right, okay. All right. So as long as that makes sense in that context, that's great. I was kind of worried that, okay, is this gonna make sense to me? But sure, the natural law is just another grammar, right? It's just the grammar we care about talking about.
It's the most reduced version of it, right?
Well, it's the most reduced version of cooperation. But is it the most reduced version of chemistry? No, chemistry is the most reduced.
Chemistry already is presupposed in it.
Right, and so this is the hierarchy. But so the problem is when I say man is the measure of all things,
Yeah,
that's the problem that we have to get to. The grammars are our system of measurement. These laws are the causes that we have to
right.
describe with the system of measurement, and our sense perception, all right, is sense and perception and action determine what the measurements have to be. And at the scale we're interested in, which is behavioral, which is cooperation and political systems, which is because that's what problem we're trying to solve, then this is the grammar or the logic of cooperation that is that provides the most scope between us and the world. Okay, yes.
There you go.
All right. I just want to make sure that that was where the natural law belonged.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I don't know why it's being slow.
It's very interestingly slow.
Why are you being slow? Update you.
That's not how you spell cooperation. Yeah, I was checking for that.
Wow, 1, 3, 4 second delay. The hell's going
You
on?
seeing that too?
Oh,
Is
it's 4 second delay on my side.
Wow.
That wasn't happening a few minutes ago, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna update that. I'm gonna refresh it. See if that does anything. I do know that Zoom for some reason puts a heavy burden on my processor. This is a computer from 2000. I mean, I bought it, and as I buy the same computer every time, right? Because I want them all compatible. So, but you know, this is a 2014 computer. They made these from 13, 14, and 15. And it's still the best one they made, except now they've got the M1 chips that are like, oh my God, fast.
Right.
So I'm going to have to upgrade eventually. All right, so we get down into our. See, this is what I'm having a problem with. Having a problem with this. There's a bug in here somewhere. Anyway, so what I did is I put the table of contents together. I said, okay, I gotta ask Brad this one question. Now, then I just stubbed out, these things. Right?
Right,
Why are we not having our? Oh. I don't know what you're doing there, buddy. White line.
I'm
There we
watching
go.
the show.
There we go. I don't know. It's not giving me the one I want. I want this one. Which happens usually if I just do this. Ah, there we go.
Okay.
All right. And so I did a few changes to this section.
Right,
Where am I? Now, so here's the next. How can I ask this hard question? I'm sorry, Brett. I feel it's so unfair to do all the work outside and then come to you and throw you
no, it's okay.
a question. So you see, I've written this. I've written this is a list. And this is a legal argument.
Okay,
And I'm not sure that's a good idea. I'm not sure this should be written as in the law, form of law. And the reason is it's a little harder to. You have to read it more, or you have to scan this.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yeah, I understand.
Right. So I'm not settled on whether this is the right method. In other words, I'm not sure this isn't a better approach. Or maybe some combination of the two. Right? For example, let's start up here.
Okay.
So we've got discreteness, differentiation, and persistence, right?
Yeah,
Persistence,
yes,
resistance.
yes,
Right? So whereas if I wrote this as causality, discreteness, differentiation, persistence, and then summarize, therefore, blah, 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 blah. In this form, would it be easier to read?
and what? Oh, well, then it is right now?
Than it is right now? And so my instinct normally is to take something like this and to
put it first.
We'll do it the other way around.
There you go. That's a better equation.
Right. So I could do that, right? And that gets it puts less of a burden on working memory,
Yes.
right? So I don't know the answer. I know that it's not that hard to convert this to that if we don't like it. My instinct is not to do something really disruptive
Right.
right now,
No, that's right.
just to continue with it. All right.
That's right.
What I like about this is this is how my mind works, right? So I don't want to impose how my mind works on other people. So when I just see a pattern, that's enough for me.
Right.
When I look at this is an explanation,
Right.
right? So if we state the pattern and then the explanation, it's probably easier for other people. But you already read my 400-page draft and it's in this form.
Yes.
So is that hard for you to understand in that form?
I think I like this form better that we're working on because it has the explanation in it.
I agree. All right, so we'll just keep.
But that doesn't require as much arcing.
Right. So. Okay, so. There's one more. How long is this one? So that's there. It's longer. All right. So thank you for answering the sort of organizational problems. Right. Thank you. I'm saying I appreciate your work for that and that I want to change context. And I don't want to jump in a new context without cluing you, which would be rude. And I'm rude enough as it is, so that's not.
It's true.
But, damn it.
I won't argue with you. That would be rude myself.
All right, so this is the end of physics, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right, so how did I do this? We reduced the physical universe to that.
Right. That's short.
Let's see if we did it right there. I think we did it wrong. Yeah. I think it's I think the physical universe isn't done yet.
Is what?
1 second. Okay, so. We got an onion, the layers of the onion problem.
Yes.
All right, so I like that we start out with the physical universe here. Right? And we build up
Yes,
the physical universe through the behavioral universe,
right,
through the um, um, political universe, right?
yeah,
To natural selection, right? And we describe evolutionary computation across all of them there. And from there, we get into the ternary logic of evolutionary computation,
right.
right? I added this too. I added this. Added this. Let's go away. Why are you in the way? It's in my way. Get out of the fucking way. I can't click on the thing because it's in the way. Great. How do I get rid of you? I don't know. Anyway, this thing is trapped up here.
I don't know what that means.
It means I've got,
Just I cannot compute it.
it means that. Oh, I'm not going to explain the code. It's too stupid.
I understand.
It's confusticated.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
We're not actually in the behavioral universe here. We're just doing the hierarchy of first principles.
Right.
So I'm asking now we're into cooperation. Right? And then we're into cooperation of political scale. And then we're into natural selection. Therefore, producing evolutionary computation. Therefore, producing the ternary logic of evolutionary computation. Right. Etc. Now.
Now, this is different. Look at go to the outline.
Yeah.
You were.
I asked this question yesterday, but
See, we have evolutionary computation in the physical laws.
This is, I brought this up already. This is the problem. This I said is that, see, we have this problem, right?
What's the problem?
Well, the logic of evolutionary computation is the result of analysis of the laws.
Oh, so you think that's too early to bring it in?
I don't, that's really what I'm asking. Is that it seems to me that we should move all this stuff up and then summarize with it. But then how do we explain what it is we're doing?
Right. So I like the outline from yesterday because it's like this. It's like the physical laws show evolutionary computation at work in an analog that is understandable.
Yes.
And then you go that's the before set, and it contains all the laws necessary to understand the during set, which is behavior, and then the after set, which is the evolutionary consequences of all the laws that we've already discovered and talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's necessary to give it a pre-shadow it, foreshadowing, right?
Right. We can't get into behavioral. I mean, it's really easy to understand it at the physical level.
Yes.
We can't get into
once you understand it, when you show it operating in the behavioral laws, which is more complex and harder to gather up, you already have it plugged into your operating system ahead of time.
Right.
And it allows you to see through the complexity, the apparent complexity of it, to see the organization of it.
Right. So all we're saying is behavioral law is just an extension of the physical laws, right? All of which are bound by the. So this is what I said. In theory, you'd want to explain this first.
Yes.
right? You'd want to explain this first, the logic of evolutionary computation, the ternary logic, and the hierarchy first.
Yes.
You'd want to go through the first principles. But whenever I do that, it's like, well, why is this true?
Right.
You have
No,
to
so
have
this is the right
Right.
order.
Right. So this is the right order,
I think it is.
right? Now, what? Okay, so now let's go back down and show, we cover. See, this isn't, I'm just trying to point out that this isn't true, right? This isn't true. All right, I just wanted to mark that there is. I want to just see if I've got something in there. Right, so I have, there's the behavioral. Right? So we've already got that there. So here's the problem. Here's my question.
Okay.
Thank you for being so good at what you do. Here's the end of, I mean, it's really that simple. Oh no, here it is, the combination hierarchy. All right, really there. Come on. That's the end, right? Now, this is framed as acquisition.
Yeah.
It could be, it's really just accumulation, right?
Oh, it is accumulation, which is, I think that's a good name. Because in the physical world, it's accumulation.
Right.
And do we talk about it as accumulation in the physical world?
Well, I do, as I say, we use the term anthropomorphic acquisition across the spectrum because, we could use accumulation, but
I think what I would do is introduce it in the physical universe as accumulation.
yeah,
And then that foreshadows this acquisition, which is behavioral,
right,
and attaches it to the accumulation function occurring in the physical universe.
right, I agree. So we can separate them. So let me see if I can get this question out of my head. We have this hierarchy here of we're continuing to demonstrate the principle, right, through a further accumulation, biomolecules, protomolecules, life, cooperative life, right, which consists of this hierarchy, and cooperation at social scale, and cooperation between the sexes, and cooperation at political scale, and then for persistence by natural selection, right, producing evolutionary computation, and there's the summary, and then we derive evolutionary computation from it. So what I'm asking about is that, well, should we really be putting in other words, should I be taking the point of trying to beat the principle of evolutionary calculation to death here by including all this stuff about life? Or should I just keep repeating the mantra of evolutionary computation in each section as we go through it? So in other words,
how does this relate to evolutionary computation as a conclusive function in every section? Is that what you're asking me?
Right. I mean, shouldn't we? What I tried to do here is I'm trying to solve the problem of the complete argument of the first principle, which is this.
Right.
I'm showing that that's the first principle across the whole of existence. at all.
Right, so then then what I would do is satisfy that, show how, the conclusion is for every section is how does this satisfy evolutionary computation?
Right, but do I need to go through
Yes,
all of?
just you put it in every section because it's like this.
Oh, no, it's not a question I'm asking.
Oh, sorry,
I'm saying then, but can I just say, do I have to do all this stuff on life? Or can I put this stuff on life later on as we go through the different sections on, different scales of behavior? And then just summarize in each one how it's facilitating evolutionary computation. In other words, I'm gonna cover life twice,
yeah, that's not necessary.
right? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, that's not necessary.
So I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to set up the principle and then demonstrate it at all scales,
Yes,
right? So that would mean we would just reiterate the evolutionary computation at all scales. Right, we're reinforcing evolutionary computation
that's
as
right.
we go through each scale. And we're summarizing it in, we're summarizing that in this evolutionary velocity.
Yes,
All right, so we have to,
because the first mention is in physics.
all right, so we have to summarize. All right, summarize.
Yeah,
All right. Okay. Okay, so that would mean we would. Now, what about the ternary logic? Behavior is a means of behavior. So now we get down to, I bring in computation. Yes. Yes, I can just cut all this out, right? I'll just take this, right?
hmm.
What goes through here.
What are you gonna do with it?
Well, I'm gonna move it into behavior.
Yeah, that's correct.
We don't need to cover it all here.
Yes.
right?
Right.
See, if I have it the way I have now, I've described the entire onion,
Right. From the middle out.
right? And then we would go into greater detail.
Right.
I'm just not sure which way is better. Because you do cover the whole thing here, right?
Right. What you've done is covered all the first principles to there.
Right. But that's just like layer one. That's the overview. And I just feels like it would be confusing to the reader to then go and revisit. Or is it explanatory? Because this is a lot more detail about what we do, our behavior.
Oh, yeah, no, I think chicken egg problem.
Exactly.
And
We
it's
get
okay.
this all the time, Brad.
I noticed that. And it's okay. So the issue is this, it's you're in an indeterminate state. Because it's like it's about 50-50, the Markov chain from here. And so it doesn't matter. It's not a clear choice, and there's the confidence that one is superior to the other is low.
Well, what point are we trying to make with each section? Maybe we'll do it that way. Let's try this way. The point of the first section is to explain the physical world determines causality, evolutionary computation, and trifunctionalism.
Yes.
That's the second section.
Yeah.
Is behavior at all scales, which is and they're like a much lower resolution, right?
Yes.
And so maybe we can address it that way, is that most higher.
Huh.
I keep wanting to say revolution. Freud is just doing its work. Resolution instead of revolution. What the hell's going on in the back of my head that's trying to leak out?
I have an idea. Not that I would admit to
it. Anyway, so we could then say, well, okay, that's our point. The point with behavior is the next level of resolution.
Now, so I like it. I like it the way it's organized currently, because it's like it's at low res physics, low res behavioral sciences, and then you're going to go through a transition, discuss evolutionary computation, however you're going to do in the middle, and then high resolution look at what the situation is, which has got its detailed historical analysis. It's an analytical function, right? Because it's describing particulars as opposed to general.
And the way it allows us to make the argument incrementally. In other words, we're making the whole argument there in the first few pages.
Right.
Right. That's pretty much the argument. But then we got to apply it.
That's right. Applied.
Right. And then and so we can apply the argument. So maybe we're just outlining it wrong. No, I like it. Applied. That's good. This is applied. It's really though, it's like, here's the first level of resolution, the whole universe, right?
Right.
And it's pretty simple. Then we get down to,
Right.
and that's just like evolutionary
No,
computation.
so the first section then, the simple is, here's a caliper, here's a measuring stick. And then it's like, here's the geometry of the known political space,
Right.
right? Which is, that's a application of those tools to the known world and measuring it and how it works.
Yeah, we're just, so it's computation. And then you get into, oh, I see. It's the abstract physical, then the experiential, then the consequential.
Well, I like that.
Causal, experiential, consequential. It's probably, let's note that.
Huh. That's nice.
And now. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Here's the causes. Here's how we experience them.
Mm,
And here's the result.
that's nice.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That allows that. That's
Now it's in this abstract format, right? This is the abstraction of it. This whole set thing is the abstraction of the arguments that are going to be presented.
right. And now we keep the organization we have. I like this, Brad. No, you're good at this.
I think that I'm good. I agree. I like this.
I love telling Martin stuff like that. It's like, you know, you're really good at this. He's like, I know. You're just as arrogant, but you state it forgivingly, right? You know, you
I know.
you say your arrogance with humility. Martin, he doesn't.
he
He just doesn't care.
It's impressive. I'm working on that.
Oh God. All right, so that solves the three outstanding problems I had with moving stuff over. So now the only thing we would have to leave unstated is, I don't just really like this, is this whole list versus argument thing. And I'm probably going to soften the therefores.
To do that, you just put a
It's just really clear when you read it that way, but it's meant to be read. Whereas this is more how I work, which is it's meant to be scanned.
mhm.
Right, because that's how I sort of work. I'm like, okay, I see how these things go together. I see how these things go together. I see how these things go together. but this is meant to be read, so. All right. Thank you for helping me with that. That was a, you made my day kind of thing.
Good.
Now, don't let it go to your head. It doesn't mean you can give me more shit today.
Okay. I'll
Not-
try
not
not
that
to.
you
I'll
care,
I'll-
you-
I'm gonna
you
hold
don't
back,
care. You're gonna do it anyway.
probably.
All right.
It's a compelled, I'm compelled.
You're compelled. Yes, all right. All right, so. We're gonna go back down into here. And I'm a little worried that we need you also. Where is the philosophy? Which one is this one? That's the, we don't need you anymore. That's the, we don't need you anymore. All right, what we need is the philosophy. We need you here. I'm gonna move you to that window. There. And I'm going to change you to edit so I have more screen. And so now I have you and you to work from. And I have you to bring into it. Great. All right, so. I want to have. Okay, we've already done those, right?
Yeah.
Now we're here. Give me 1 second. This is the thing you read, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's gonna be. Oh, there's another one. Damn, but Brad, we have so much stuff to work with.
An embarrassment of riches.
It's just too brief. Where does this go? This is really grammar. I don't handle it in the sciences. Where's the science? I don't hear. Sorry, Brad.
What's that?
Then probably philosophy. So that means it's in here. Acquisition. Yeah, it's the same argument every time, right? Find action acquisition. Biological economy, neuroeconomy. Oh, it's already in here. Well, I can't help it if you're prescient, Brad.
How's this?
Well, you already told me to put all this stuff in there.
I'm keeping you on track, man. Now I will discuss this with you briefly.
Please.
So it's like there's a we have the evolutionary computation and we have the trifunctional or the ternary logics, right? And I really would like to see how that them discussed in the context of every section. Like how is this satisfying those principles? How are those principles manifesting in this context or at this scale? Because they're scale independent functions, right?
Right, so you said evo comp and then what? Ternary logic?
Ternary logics. Oh my.
Well,
I know, I'm just making fun because your hand was in the wrong place. Then
we need the same here. All right.
yeah. The
Oh, this. I don't know if there's any similarity there. I love this change. I love this change. All right, so you brought me back to that now. Acquisition, I'm just gonna do myself a favor here. And, hello, don't do this to me again. All right. So we have time. And action and clause, but we didn't cover. Did we cover it here? So, we didn't cover it here. We still have to fill that in. I like that we get it out of the way here, though. Okay, what's the problem of throwing? I think that's where we are, right? We sort of figured out our. Yeah, so, okay. What are we trying to do here? So what we have here, I am missing too much and it's bothering me. What am
What's
I?
that?
I'm having to pull too much out of my head. I think it's all here though. I need that. We don't need prey drive. We have. I don't know if this is up here. Hmm. We already did this, right? We don't need this.
Yes.
Um, Damn it. So good, this is good. I know I need dual autonomy there. Yeah, I've already picked that thing. Yeah, autonomy here.
Hmm.
Let's not, yeah. I like how this is. I would like to have it as ternary laws. We're trying to keep this to just the. Sorry, Brad, I'm having to do a lot of organization in my head.
I know.
I'm trying to resist detail, unnecessary detail.
Yes.
This is part of the economy. Movement. Homeostasis. You need homeostasis to discuss time. Real economy.
Uh-oh.
No,
Get nervous when they disappear.
yeah, me too.
Okay, good.
This is probably just one. This is probably all time here.
What's that?
All of this is time.
Yes.
This is biological economy. Biological economy.
Hmm. Which is an interesting function. We talk about economy, okay? Which is that the issue is it's Markov chains for everything. Because economy is acquisition versus loss versus stasis. Right?
Say again?
Economy is Markov chains for everything. Which is gain, stasis, or loss.
Right. Right. That's it.
We use the term economy in there, which is the determining the decision-making process,
Change in
right?
time, change in time.
Over time, right? In time.
Mhm.
Because it's the state, right? The change in state in time.
Yep.
Well, see, then that reverberates throughout the entirety of the structure because it's ternary logic of time. Try not to complicate your life here.
No, I'm, what you're doing is wonderful. It's usually like that.
Because I can see that reverberating from physics. If you talk about this Markov chain thing, the change in state in time from physics throughout. Oh,
Yeah, these are old links. This is pretty good. I'm trying to. So how do we? See, this is ternary, right?
yes.
That's ternary.
This we call economy because we were talking about it in go to the beginning physics, which is it's energy gain, loss, or sameness in time.
Well,
Wait, there it is, right there. It's up a little bit more. Right there. Universe can only resolve differences in pressure.
yeah. What I'm gonna do. I want to really state it as turning laws.
What's that?
Well, this is the right way to do it, is I want to state it as the turning laws decidability, turning law cooperate. I mean, I want to keep that structure
Yes.
going as much as possible. So I need so much information. This needs to be simplified. My brain is getting fried.
I'm impressed by how much working memory you have.
There's so much good stuff in here. I think I'm trying to overcomplicate this paragraph. I'm really trying to handle the time problem.
What's the time problem?
Well, the problem, you only need to deal with acquisition because of time. So I want to handle this all as time. Then I want to handle all this as acquisition. Right? All the values in here. I don't want to create a lot of I mean, there's not a lot of rules here.
You have time.
Yep.
Acquisition.
Right. See, this is
But time is a biological.
well, it's a resource, right? I mean, we only have so much of it. It's continuously expiring resource.
Right, and your natural condition as a finite entity is to lose energy over time, unless you acquire.
Hmm.
And so time is like a dissipative function.
Time and entropy might as well be the same word.
Yeah.
The problem is we have to preserve homeostasis, and we'd like to be able to produce reserves.
Right.
Action, if we're allowed, allows us to defeat a little bit of time, as long as there are returns on it. Right, so there's a, that's a biological economy. This is a behavioral economy, and this is a neural economy, right? This is a neural economy. So you have the three. I mean, you don't have to have any flagella or anything if you're just a cell floating around, right?
Right. Yeah, you're just controlling what gets in and what gets out.
Right. And this allows you to have some determination over it, and this allows you to have more determination over it, right? And then cooperation allows you to have more.
Yes.
Sentience, right, has more over it, and then cooperation has more. Why do I do that? So we want to just deal with.
I think it can be treated in a fairly succinct manner.
I think we just do it as time in a bulleted list of the economies.
Yes.
Right, so it's just a time.
Well, I think you do it like yeah.
so that we have time. We put entropy inside of time.
Yeah,
We put homeostasis next. You put
yes.
you put this is all defeating time, and then we're defeating time. And then defeating time. Defeating time. The dark forces of time
Huh.
and ignorance. Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. So I'm just gonna go boom, boom.
You're gonna do,
I'm just gonna move all that in.
yeah.
What? And I'm gonna change that, move that out. And I think that's how we solve it. And that doesn't get out of hand. And what is the,
It's scary to be on the verge of it as you're like, oh, this could just go totally freaking crazy.
yeah, let's try to not make it go sideways.
It's like there's a big spring in there, man. Be careful.
I have to take a break.
It's all right. Curt, we've done yeoman's work today.
We did good work today.
You happy?
I'm happy. It's like, I wish I could have another. I always end our sessions wishing I had more energy. But damn it, we answered some big questions today, 3 big questions to start with. We solved framing an organizational problem, and we came into this and said, okay, how do we make this bridge? And we've just done that. And the truth is that most of everything else is stuff we know.
Yeah.
Right, because we did all this stuff a long time ago. Right, all this institutions and policies and stuff, right? And there's only so many of these rules. What I'd like to do is see if we can turn this into a, what's ternary here?
This ternary. It's gain loss.
Yeah, but what I mean is this.
What's the question?
There's a relationship here.
Oh. Between those 3 bits?
Between the,
Yeah, before, during, after.
yeah. Hold on a second. No, yeah, okay, it's before, during, after. And there's after. Okay, that's what it is. I knew there was something there, I just couldn't put it in my head.
So it's like a it's a time, the ternary logic in time.
Yes. That's actually the right way to say it. He will find.
See, like the ternary logic in matter, okay,
Yeah,
is loss, stasis, gain, or something like that.
yeah. There's a, it's actually cost. Cost. Let me see. Cost. And that's the problem, that's the. Whether you act or don't act, there's still a cost to everything.
Right.
So it's just between.
So that's economics.
Yeah. Basically. All right, I gotta crash because I just went completely.
You
limp.
burned through your bagel.
Yeah. The problem is I'm so freaking excited right now.
Huh.
I want to continue. I just can't, and it doesn't work when I don't work with you. I can do some basic things, but without the
Hmm.
back and forth. It's too
It
hard.
helps. It helps liven things up a little bit.
It keeps the focus. And then we're so close now in our understanding that it's like having two brains. It's fucking wonderful. All right. So I'm gonna stop the share.
Yeah,
And thank you for all you do for me and for us.
always a pleasure.
All right, and I'm gonna
It
go.
really is. It's a great pleasure to do it.
So if you're following, I'm gonna do the Brad thing.
Oh,
Do
Hey.
like, subscribe, bell, leave comments. Tell Brad he's handsome. All right. Well, we got somebody to do it last time. I might as well try it this time. Let's see how
what happens next.
devoted some people are to contributing to the humor. All right. I love you, man. This was a great day. Thank you so much.
Stop the recording, please.
Okay.